What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about British words that confuse Americans. I am ready and willing to be confused, and honestly, that's just kind of the norm around here, especially when I'm learning about British words and phrases. Honestly, I'm just shocked at how many there seem to be, an endless supply of British words that I've never heard of. I'm almost kind of jealous. It's like people in Britain have so much more words and phrases and slang and expressions that are British, so much more to work with, so much more interesting that just don't exist here in the United States. So I don't know. I'm just shocked at how many there are at times. Endless supply. And I am really curious to see if I can understand any of the words in this list of British words that confuse Americans. Can I understand any of them? Have I ever heard of any of these British words before? Possibly. And you know what? At the end of the day, either way, I'm gonna learn something. So with that being said, let's take a look at 10 British words that confuse Americans like myself.
All right, let's kick off with number one, builder's tea. This is
Builder's tea. Builder's tea. Never heard of. Immediately I'm going into like processing analytical mode, desperately trying to figure out what it means just by the name. Builder's tea? Never heard of it. It must have something to do with tea. Is it a flavor of tea? Builder's tea? Maybe it's a flavor?
is a colloquial phrase that we use to talk about a strong cup of tea. Now, when I say strong,
It's a strong English breakfast tea. A cup of strong English breakfast tea. So, I wasn't that far off, honestly. I'm kind of proud of myself. Builder's tea? Is there something about builders in Britain where they have a reputation of needing like a strong cup of coffee? Like if you're gonna go out and build something, do some construction work? Or am I absolutely off the mark here? I'm curious where this comes from. This isn't a brand of tea. This is just a word for a strong cup of English tea. Okay.
I mean not a lot of milk. Okay, so it's quite dark in color.
Oh, okay. I don't even think about stuff like that. Putting milk in the tea, or tea in your milk, if you want to think about it that way. So if you don't put a lot of milk in your tea, God, just thinking about that. I've never had tea with milk in it, but that's for another discussion. If you don't put a lot of milk, it's dark, and therefore a stronger tea taste is, I guess. I think I get this.
When I say strong, I mean not a lot of milk. Okay, so it's quite
Right.
dark in color. Traditionally, builders are known for liking their tea, and I guess they would normally have it quite strong.
Builders. Yeah, it's literally talking about builders. Is that like a construction worker or a carpenter, someone who builds like stuff? In America, we don't really use the word builder. Like, oh, my grandpa, he was a builder. Like, we don't really say that. Is that a British word as well? Within the British word?
So it's become a phrase. So do you want a builder's tea? Means do you want a cup of strong English breakfast tea?
Okay. I've never heard that before. That doesn't surprise me. I feel like there has to be some British words I've heard in movies and television and YouTube, but builder's tea doesn't surprise me because it's like here in the United States, we never talk about tea or how you make it, or so that kind of part of British culture. I'm not shocked that that never made it to me until right now, right this moment. Builder's tea. Who knew?
It doesn't get much more British than number two, cheeky.
Cheeky. Cheeky. Okay, well, off the bat, I know the word cheeky. We don't say the word cheeky very much in the United States, but every American would be familiar with the word. We wouldn't be like, oh, that's so strange. What does that mean? We would say it's a bit British sounding. It's kind of a funny word in American English, you could say. And it means, I don't know, like funny, kind of silly or witty, making a joke or being sarcastic, like, oh, you're being so cheeky, very cheeky, kind of, or maybe even smart, or intelligent. Sometimes Americans use it like, oh, that's very cheeky of you, that chess move you made. Very smart. So it's not very commonly used in America, and yet we all know this word. What's the way this is most commonly used in Britain, though?
Now, it's used in a modern context to suggest that something is impromptu. It's kind of spontaneous. Maybe you do it quickly, but not.
What? I'm sorry. I had to stop this because this is just not at all the definition that I would ever be familiar with. I've never heard it used like this. Something impromptu, unplanned, like spur of the moment, is cheeky? That's cheeky? Isn't cheeky usually like kind of witty or kind of smarting off or mouthing off or saying something smart or funny? Like, oh, he's so cheeky. Isn't that what it usually is? I thought I knew this one. I'm kind of having a crisis. I thought I knew this one.
Not in a rush. You do it quickly, and maybe it's a little bit naughty. So we put it in front of activities.
Naughty.
So for example, if I said, let's go for a cheeky pint. Let's go for a cheeky pint. So a cheeky pint would be going for a quick alcoholic drink.
I can't believe how wrong I was. Is this the only way this is used in Britain? I thought cheeky meant so much. I don't trust anything anymore. I don't believe any. I don't know what to think anymore. I thought I knew cheeky. Huh. Okay. It means impromptu, a cheeky pint, a spur of the moment. Oh, let's get a pint. We didn't plan on doing this. Okay.
The idea here is that it's spontaneous. I've just thought of the idea. Oh, let's go for a cheeky pint. It's quite quick. We're not going to be in the pub all day or all night. It's quite quick.
Wow.
And maybe it's a little bit naughty. Maybe it's something that we shouldn't be doing. So yeah, let's go for a cheeky pint.
Was I describing cheeky how I think of cheeky? Is that like an American way of using it? Now I don't know what to think. Have I always just assumed that's the British way of using cheeky? Because this gentleman is telling me cheeky means something completely different. It means unplanned, impromptu. And okay.
You might hear someone say, I'm just going to pop out for a cheeky fag. Now, fag in British English is a slang word for cigarette.
Right.
So I'm just going to pop outside for a cheeky fag.
Never. Advice. If you're visiting the United States, never say, I'm going to pop out for a cheeky fag. Do not say that. Don't do it.
So a impromptu, quick cigarette. There's a restaurant in Britain called Nando's. It's very popular. They sell chicken. And the phrase, let's go for a cheeky Nando's, it has become like a phrase in itself. It means quick, naughty, impromptu Nando's.
I've heard that before. I've heard that phrase. I don't know how. Cheeky Nando's. No idea what it meant. I think I knew it had something to do with a restaurant, and I thought it meant like, oh, I don't know what. Cheeky Nando's, like Nando's is funny or silly or like witty. It means impromptu. It means like for an unplanned, oh, let's just pop over to Nando's. Like we didn't plan on this, but let's do it. Cheeky Nando's. Wow, that actually makes sense. And I have heard it used that way. My mind just didn't let me believe that it could mean anything else.
Yeah, very British. Let's go for a cheeky something. So put cheeky in front of a noun or an activity, and you're basically British.
I had no idea. This is blowing my mind a bit. I really thought cheeky meant something else. And now I don't know what to believe. Well, I believe him. I believe it is used this way. And I've heard cheeky Nando's used this way on YouTube or something. Wow. Okay.
Number 3, bants.
Bants. Oh man, I gotta center myself. All right, bants. Moving on. Bants. Is it like banter? It makes me think of banter, like speaking. If you're gonna partake in some bants, you're gonna have a sort of a silly, cheeky. There I go again. A silly, witty conversation. Bants. Is that at all close?
Bants. This is a short form of banter.
Yes!
Banter. Now, banter, or
Yeah, I actually, I needed that. I needed this. After what just happened with Cheeky, I needed a win. So thank you.
bants, if you prefer, is playful, teasing conversation
Yeah.
with someone that you're familiar with, usually someone you're familiar with, and you're teasing each other. You're making jokes about each other.
Okay, like banter. I had never heard this before. I just figured, like, bants, the only thing it sounds close to is banter. And it bants is basically banter, fun banter.
So if your friend's football team just lost, you might say, "Oh, your team lost. Ah, your team's rubbish." It's not in a mean way. It's supposed to be
Right.
jokey, playful, teasing, as I said.
And I've heard before that a lot of friends in Britain, it can be a British kind of sense of humor to be a bit mean to each other, mean to your friends, a little friendly mean. Make fun of each other in a friendly way where it's like it means you love each other, actually, when you tell each other that you hate one another. It's apparently a British kind of humor I've heard of.
If your friend just got a really bad haircut, you might say, "Oh, mate, did your hairdresser cut your hair in the dark?" Something like that.
Oh,
Usually
no.
it's more funny than that. But
That would Americans would not like that. That would hit way too close to home. Bring out our deepest insecurities. If you're like, did your hair cutter give you a haircut in the dark? Americans would not assume that is a joke and would probably disown you forever. That's funny to think about how different that is.
so banter is just when you're playfully joking with people. As I say, it's usually with your friends or work colleagues or something.
Right.
It could be with someone that you've just met. It's possible having banter. So
Sure,
the short
sure.
form bants
Okay.
also exists.
Okay.
Example sentence: There's been a lot of bants at the office today.
This is the first. This one makes a lot of sense to me. What did we have before? The cheeky, which I just had no idea what's going on, and the builder's tea, which I had never even heard of. Bants is the one that I kind of instantly understand the most.
There's been a lot of bants at the office today. Now, guys, remember these words. A lot of these words are very colloquial, very sort of informal slang language. So perhaps
Okay.
you might not want to use all of these phrases or these words, bring them into your English. It might sound strange.
I'm a little scared with him setting it up like this. What are we about to learn here?
But it's great for understanding, for when you're in Britain or when you're watching British television or listening
Yeah.
to British music, you can understand what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So whether you use them in your English or not, that's up to you. But yeah, be warned that this is really colloquial stuff we're talking about here.
This like informal sort of words. Bants, builder's tea, cheeky.
So for example, with banter or bants, I probably would say banter.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say bants. I wouldn't shorten it down.
Sure.
So maybe you might want to use the full form, but not the shortened form. Number
Right.
4 is a word that is in the dictionary, but I don't use it because I think it's a bit rude. So the word is chav.
Chav. Chav? No idea. Never heard this before. It almost sounds like it's from another language. CHAV, chav. It almost sounds like chafe. I'm not going to say that chav means chafe, like you chafe your butt on your underpants or something. No idea. For chav, I have literally no idea.
Chav. It's an insulting word to describe a poor, uneducated person.
Oh.
I don't like it. I don't use it. I think it's
Oh. I don't know if I can immediately come up with the American equivalent to this, chav. Chav is a negative word. It's bad. It's an insult towards a poor, uneducated person. Dang. Yeah, that's quite rude, making fun of someone for those types of circumstances of their life situation. Well, I don't know what an American might say instead of chav, like a bum or something, like, something kind of mean like that. Wow, I didn't know about this.
it's really, really rude. However, it's a word that's in the dictionary and it's a word that you will see written, you'll hear said. So it's
Oh, this is in the dictionary. This is a word, not a slang or something. Do people say this word often, or is it considered pretty rude. Is this considered kind of taboo to say? I'm curious.
Important to know in some respects. So chav. So if you describe someone as a chav, they are poor and uneducated in your opinion. As I say, guys, be careful with that word.
Now I get why he was making a point to purposefully say, hey, some of these words, you might not want to add them to your personal lexicon of words to use. You don't want to go running around Britain screaming chav. And that makes sense to me.
Because it's not the nicest. On the other end of the social spectrum, you've got a toff.
Toff. Toff. Sounds like it's from a fantasy novel or something. Like, that's not an elf or a dwarf. It's a toff. Or, I have never heard a word like toff. No idea what this means. Based on the context, it sounds like he's about to say this is more of a positive word, which is nice. So let's see.
A toff. Again, this is a slightly derogatory or insulting way to describe a very posh person.
Oh, that's what he meant. He meant opposite, as in, yet another horrible, insulting word, but towards the other end of the spectrum of society, not against a poor or uneducated person. Toff is derogatory towards someone who is from the upper class or rich. A toff. Somehow toff, like, really fits. Like, just the way it sounds. Like, oh, what a toff. Man, is this a common word to say? I feel like among normal average people in the United States or in Britain, it's definitely way more okay to call rich, privileged, upper class people names and make fun of them. That's fine. And it's not very in good taste to make fun of people who are struggling and are in a difficult financial situation. So toff, maybe that's used more because it's kind of more okay. I don't know.
Someone that comes from the upper classes, and you're saying it in a derogatory way. So, that guy is a toff. You're saying he's a posh person, that he's from the upper class.
Posh. Posh is another British word. Is toff like posh? Because I've heard of posh. I know that means rich or upper class or bougie, if you will. But I've never heard of toff.
But it's in a rude way. So you've got a chav at the lower end of the social spectrum and a toff at the other end. Both equally kind of insulting.
Insulting words. This is so interesting because I'm sure there are words like I could come up with that are derogatory in American English, but nothing immediately that's exactly like a toff or a chaff or anything like that. Interesting how British English has these very specific sorts of words for things.
Now, by now, guys, you know that in Britain, it rains most of the time. So we need umbrellas. And we've shortened the word umbrella down to brolly.
Brolly. I have heard this one from a video a while back where I was taught this word. Brolly. Fantastic word. And that it means umbrella. Sounds like umbrella. Much more fun to say. We do not say brolly in the United States. No one would know what on earth you're talking about. But as soon as you explained what this is, like, I was like immediately, oh, that makes sense. That's kind of fun. This is a perfect example of Britain just having words that are fun for stuff. And I feel like America really lacks that when I learn about these things.
Brolly. So if someone ever says to you, have you got a brolly? It means, have you got an umbrella?
Right.
Very important in Britain.
Okay.
A brolly. This one's a great word. Chock-a-block.
Chock-a-block. Chock-a-block? It's funny. It sounds funny. Nothing in the phrase chock-a-block is leading me to come up with what it means. Are you doing something with a block? Like a brick? Or is it like walking a block? Like a distance, like a block in a city? Chock-a-block means to sprint a block ahead in the city. That is my guess.
Chock-a-block. I enjoy saying that word. Say it with me, guys. Chock-a-block.
A lot of these words are fun to say. Chock-a-block, brawly.
Now this means super busy, crowded, congested, chock-a-block. So you're trying to drive to...
Okay. Is it kind of like a block of condensed humans? Did I get any of this on the right track or not really? Chock-a-block, full of people or things. Okay.
Work, and the road is full of cars and traffic. You could say, oh, the road's chock-a-block. You can't get down it. It's too busy. Too many people, too many cars. Chock-a-block.
Oh, is it more like block as in the road is blocked? Like it's cut off. Chock-a-block. Like from the word blocked? I'm just trying to think of how on earth this word came to be. How did this start? Doesn't matter. It's a fun word. And it has again, perfect example of a fun word for a very specific situation that we don't really have these kinds of options to say these things in American English. So I love it. Chock-a-block. That road is chock-a-block, I tell you. That's what I'd be yelling.
Number 8, I think, is borrowed from Australian English. Up the duff.
Oh, wow. I feel like the last 4 or 5 in a row, I've had no idea what we're talking about. Up the duff. I don't know what a duff is. Are you going up the road? What are you going up? I have no idea. I don't even have a guess. What is a duff?
Up the duff means to be pregnant.
Huh?
Now, it's a bit impolite, guys, so don't go around saying, oh, you're up the duff.
It's like up the duff means pregnant. Like how an American might say you're knocked up, or like you have a bun in the oven. This is more like knocked up. Up the duff. Never heard of up the duff, but I feel like Americans use an exact same type of word, knocked up, instead of up the duff. So I actually get this one, and it can be kind of rude to say, especially if you're in a more formal situation.
To someone that you don't know, because, yeah, it is a bit rude.
Yeah.
So it's a very informal, colloquial way to say someone is pregnant. So an example sentence, did you hear Karen's up the duff? Did you hear Karen's up the duff?
I wouldn't have even known how to use this in a phrase until he said it. I would have been like, yeah, she got up the duff. Like, it's more like, did you hear Karen is up the duff? Okay. That makes a little more sense to me. What is a duff? That's the big question I have here. What is a duff? And how are they up it?
It means, did you hear that Karen is pregnant? As I say, use that one carefully.
Okay.
This one's more of a phrase than a word, but it's used so commonly in British English. Are you having a laugh?
Are you having a laugh? I mean, you could say this in America, and I would think you're saying, are you having a laugh? Are you laughing? Is something really funny? Are you having a good time? Are you guys having a laugh over there? Like, it's almost like I'm asking, what is so funny? Is that at all what it means in Britain?
Are you having a laugh? Now, we use it to challenge something or that someone has said or done that we think is strange or stupid or wrong.
What? Wow. I wasn't thinking that at all. I would think in America this would be more of a positive phrase. This would be unusual to say, but it would kind of make sense if you're just like, oh, you guys having a laugh over there? Basically saying what's so funny, or why are you thinking something is so funny? That's not at all what it means. It means a phrase that you would use to challenge that something is stupid someone has said or done. That you're saying what they've done is stupid or unreasonable. This is a bit confrontational to say, by the sound of it.
We would say, are you having a laugh? So let's say someone bought a t-shirt for a lot of money, and they said, oh yeah, I got this new t-shirt, it cost me £100. Are you having a laugh? £100? Are you having a laugh?
It's almost like you're calling them crazy? Like they have become the Joker, and they're insane, and they're laughing maniacally. You're almost calling them crazy by saying, are you having a laugh? Are you nuts? Are you crazy? Is that kind of where it comes from at all? Or
like, Are you kidding? Like, what? You did something stupid. Are you joking? No, I don't know why my voice goes very high whenever I say, "Are you having a laugh?"
That's the kind of way an American would say it. We would say, "Are you kidding me? Are you joking? Are you kidding me?" And it's a lot like, "Are you having a laugh?" I didn't know that.
My voice seems to go quite high. Are you having a laugh? It doesn't have to go that high. It can be normal, okay? Are you having a laugh? Are you having a laugh? And finally...
I think you do have to go high. You do. Are you having a laugh? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It just has more punch. There's no way they're gonna ignore you if you sound that irritating. That's why.
British English, we've got lots of words to use to describe someone that we think is an idiot.
Yes. 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 That is one of the most beautiful things about British English. The amount of words there are to call someone stupid or dumb or an idiot. This is one of my most favorite things about British English. And what do we have here?
An idiot. There are a wide variety. There's one in particular, a mug. A mug.
A mug. Okay, I like this one because it's not used in America. This is not said, but I have heard it. Not very often, but enough that I know mug is a British word, and I'm not sure I would have known it means stupid. In America, this is kind of a slang word, meaning your face. If you and it's negative, you'd see like take a look at that guy's mug, as in his face, and it means it's ugly. You're saying someone has an ugly mug or an ugly face. That's completely different to this. It means stupid. I know this is such an interesting one. I've heard it, but it's not very much, and I'm not sure I would have known it meant stupid. I know it was negative in Britain.
This was popularised by the TV show Love Island in 2017.
Huh.
I mean, it existed beforehand, but it became much more popular afterwards. If you call someone a mug, you think they are stupid. They are an idiot.
I like that. I like that. The more I think about it, because you're basically saying they are dumb as a mug, a cup that holds coffee. You are dumb as a mug. You're a mug. That is your intelligence level. I like it.
Super slang, that one. Super slang English. Maybe another version would be a plonker.
Plonker.
There was an old TV
A plonker. Oh my god, these are fantastic.
program called Only Fools and Horses, where they used the word plonker pretty much every sentence. So you've got mug, plonker, wally as well.
Wally.
If you're a wally, you're an idiot. These are, of course, insults. Not
so many different options. So many options. I'm so jealous.
too rude. They're not the rudest words you could say, but they are rude.
Wow.
So don't go around calling someone you don't know a mug.
Right.
Because they'll get offended.
Right.
There are loads of ways to call someone an idiot in English. Different varieties around Britain. So if you know any, pop them in the comments below. Guys, I hope you enjoyed.
All right, there you have it. That was fantastic. That was by Eat, Sleep, Dream English, and I got to give that a like. Those really were mostly British words that did have me confused. It lived up to the title, British words that confuse Americans. I was very confused, especially the further we got into the video. Like, this was just words I had no, like some of this stuff. Builder's tea, cheeky. I thought I knew cheeky. Apparently it's something completely different. Bant is the one that I got right. Chaff didn't know. What else do we have? Toff didn't know. Chock-a-block, no idea. Up the duff. Are you having a laugh? Mug, yeah. This was like, for the vast majority, I think 9 out of 10 of these. No idea. Very confusing. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed being confused today and learning about these creative, fascinating British words and phrases. It's like there's an endless amount of them, and it's so cool to learn about. Apparently I gotta be careful a little bit about which ones I use and which ones are okay, but it's just fun, honestly, learning about these, so this was great. I enjoyed it. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to British culture and stuff about Britain or British culture that I've never learned about or seen before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.